Right now, stop this video for a second. Go make a cup of coffee. I'm serious, because what I'm about to show you will not work the same if you just sit there and listen. After 40 years in the ER, I can tell you this clearly. Most damage in the body doesn't happen suddenly. It happens quietly while you're doing normal things like drinking your morning coffee. What you don't feel right now is that your body's repair system is slowing down. The cells that used to rebuild muscle, burn fat, and keep you strong are still there, but they're asleep. And every day, without realizing it, most people keep them that way. Here's the part no one explains. Coffee itself is not the problem. In fact, it can be one of the strongest triggers in your day, but only if you activate it correctly. Otherwise, it just passes through your system like warm water, doing almost nothing for the deeper processes your body actually needs. After 60, I've seen patients take dozens of supplements, follow strict diets, even exercise daily, and still feel weak, heavy, and tired. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're missing one small activation step. Something simple, something you can do in seconds that changes how your body responds from the inside. In this video, we will reveal 5 specific powders and compounds you can add directly to your coffee, ranked from the least powerful to the most powerful. And the number 2 doesn't just support your body, it reawakens something most people believe is gone forever. If you're wondering where this comes from, I left the research and sources in the description below so you can check everything yourself. Before we dive in, here's a quick question. What do you usually drink in the morning, and how old are you right now? I read every comment and I want to hear your routine. Now, let's start with number 5 because this one begins working faster than you expect. Number 5, Ceylon cinnamon. Most people think of cinnamon as just a spice for desserts and holiday drinks, but Ceylon cinnamon, the true cinnamon from Sri Lanka, is one of the most underrated metabolic compounds on the planet. It is critically important to distinguish Ceylon cinnamon from the cheaper cashew cinnamon that fills most grocery store shelves because cashew contains high levels of coumarin, a compound that can damage your liver over time. Ceylon cinnamon has almost no coumarin, making it safe for daily use, and it also happens to be far more potent when it comes to the benefits we are discussing today. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food in 2011 demonstrated that cinnamon polyphenols activated AMPK, an enzyme often called the master metabolic switch in human cells. When AMPK gets turned on, your body shifts from fat storage mode into fat burning mode. The researchers found that subjects taking cinnamon extract experienced a 14% reduction in fasting blood glucose levels and a notable decrease in waist circumference over just 12 weeks. Now here's where it gets fascinating for stem cells specifically. Research published in the journal Stem Cells Translational Medicine in 2019 showed that cinnamaldehyde, the active compound in Ceylon cinnamon, enhanced the migration and proliferation of mesenchymal stem cells by up to 40%. Mesenchymal stem cells are the ones responsible for repairing your bones, cartilage, and connective tissue, exactly the tissues that break down fastest as you age past 60. The compound works by reducing chronic low-grade inflammation, which is the number one reason stem cells go dormant in the first place. Think of inflammation like static on a radio signal. Your body is constantly sending signals telling stem cells where to go and what to repair. But chronic inflammation scrambles those signals so badly that the stem cells just stop responding. Cinnamaldehyde turns the volume down on that static. To get the most benefit, you want to add about half a teaspoon of organic Ceylon cinnamon powder directly into your hot coffee each morning. The heat actually helps release more of the active polyphenols. Stir it in well and let it sit for about 2 minutes before drinking. Some people find that adding it along with a small amount of healthy fat like a splash of coconut oil or grass-fed butter increases absorption of the fat-soluble compounds significantly. You can find verified Ceylon cinnamon at health food stores or online. But always check the label because many brands sell cashew and label it misleadingly. Look for the words Ceylon or cinnamon on Verum on the packaging. Consistency matters more than dose year. Taking it every single day for at least 8 weeks is when the studies showed the most meaningful results in both blood sugar regulation and inflammatory markers. For seniors especially, the blood sugar stabilizing effect is a massive bonus because insulin resistance is one of the primary drivers of age-related fat accumulation around the midsection. When your blood sugar stays stable, your body stops pumping out excess insulin, and when insulin drops, your body finally gets permission to access stored fat for energy. One additional study from 2016 in the journal Phytomedicine found that daily cinnamon supplementation reduced levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of systemic inflammation, by 26% in adults over 55. Lower inflammation means better stem cell signaling, better tissue repair, and a metabolic environment that actually supports fat loss instead of fighting against it every step of the way. Now, let us move on to a compound that takes stem cell activation to an entirely different level. Before we keep going, make sure to hit like and subscribe. What's coming up next is too important to miss. Number 4, collagen peptides. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your entire body, making up roughly 30% of all the protein in your bones, skin, tendons, and ligaments. But after age 25, your body starts producing about 1% less collagen every single year. And by the time you reach 60 or 70, the cumulative loss is staggering. This is why your skin wrinkles, your joints creak, your gut lining weakens, and your bones become more fragile. Most people think of collagen supplements as a beauty product, something for younger women trying to improve their skin. That is a massive misconception. Collagen peptides, which are collagen proteins broken down into tiny, easily absorbed fragments, have been shown to directly influence stem cell behavior in remarkable ways. A 2019 study published in the journal Nutrients found that specific collagen peptides stimulated the proliferation of human bone marrow-derived mesenchymal stem cells by up to 200% compared to controls. The peptides essentially provided the raw building materials and the biochemical signals that dormant stem cells needed to wake up and start dividing again. Another study from Kiel University in Germany, published in 2015, demonstrated that participants taking just 5 GA of collagen peptides daily for 8 weeks experienced a 20% increase in skin elasticity and a significant improvement in joint comfort scores. But the fat-burning connection is what really surprised researchers. A clinical trial published in the British Journal of Nutrition in 2019 showed that collagen peptide supplementation increased lean muscle mass while reducing fat mass in elderly men when combined with light resistance training. The subjects gained an average of 3 lbs of lean muscle and lost nearly 4 lbs of fat over 12 weeks. More lean muscle means a faster resting metabolism, which means your body burns more calories even while you are sitting in your favorite chair. The way you prepare collagen for your coffee is incredibly simple. You want hydrated collagen peptides, which dissolve completely in hot or cold liquids without changing the taste or texture of your coffee at all. Add 1 to 2 scoops, typically 10 to 20 gram, directly into your coffee and stir. You will not even know it is there. The heat of the coffee does not destroy the peptides because they have already been broken down through hydrolysis during manufacturing. For maximum absorption, take your collagen coffee on a relatively empty stomach, meaning do not mix it into a huge, heavy meal. Some research suggests that taking vitamin C alongside collagen enhances its synthesis in the body. So squeezing a small amount of lemon juice into a glass of water before your coffee can actually amplify the results. When shopping for collagen peptides, look for grass-fed bovine collagen or wild-caught marine collagen. Marine collagen has smaller peptide molecules, and some studies suggest it absorbs up to 1.5 times more efficiently than bovine sources. Avoid products with added sugars, artificial flavors, or unnecessary fillers. The stem cell connection goes even deeper when you understand that collagen peptides contain high concentrations of glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, 3 amino acids that play direct roles in cellular repair and regeneration. Glycine alone has been shown to support mitochondrial function in aging cells, and healthy mitochondria are absolutely essential for stem cells to have the energy they need to divide and differentiate into new tissue. A 2020 review in the journal Aging Research Reviews confirmed that glycine supplementation in older adults improved markers of cellular health that are directly linked to stem cell viability. For seniors dealing with joint pain, weak bones, sagging skin, slow healing, or stubborn body fat, collagen peptides stirred into daily coffee represent one of the simplest and most evidence-backed interventions available today. The next compound on our list is where things start getting seriously powerful for both fat burning and cellular regeneration. Number 3, cacao powder. Raw cacao powder is not the same as the processed cocoa you find in packets of hot chocolate mix at the grocery store. Raw cacao is the unprocessed, unheated form of the cacao bean, and it is absolutely loaded with bioactive compounds that scientists are now calling some of the most potent natural stem cell activators ever studied. The star player in cacao is a flavonoid called epicotidin. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, San Francisco, published in 2014, found that epicotidin increased the number of circulating stem cells in elderly participants by nearly 300% after just 30 days of consumption. That number is extraordinary when you consider that most pharmaceutical interventions cannot come close to that level of stem cell mobilization without serious side effects. Epiction works by stimulating the production of nitric oxide in your blood vessels, which improves blood flow throughout your entire body. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reaching every single organ, including your bone marrow, where stem cells are manufactured. Think of it like unclogging a garden hose. Once the flow returns to full pressure, everything downstream starts thriving again. The fat-burning properties of raw cacao are equally impressive. A study published in the journal Nutrition in 2015 found that subjects consuming high flavonoid cacao experienced a 19% increase in fat oxidation during moderate activity compared to the placebo group. Fat oxidation is the scientific term for your body actually breaking down and burning stored fat for fuel instead of just circulating glucose. For seniors who struggle with that persistent belly fat that refuses to move regardless of diet changes, this is incredibly relevant. Cacao flavonoids also improve insulin sensitivity, which, as we discussed earlier, is one of the central drivers of age-related weight gain. To prepare cacao in your coffee, simply add 1 tablespoon of raw organic cacao powder directly into your cup and stir vigorously, or use a small handheld frother to blend it completely. It gives your coffee a rich, slightly chocolatey depth that most people genuinely enjoy. The key is using raw cacao, not Dutch processed cocoa, because the Dutch processing method uses alkali to neutralize acidity, and this process destroys up to 90% of the beneficial flavonoids. Always check the label for the word raw or minimally processed. You can also enhance absorption by adding a small pinch of black pepper, which contains piperine, a compound shown to increase bioavailability of plant polyphenols by up to 2,000%, according to research published in Planetica. Another critical benefit of raw cacao for seniors is its effect on brain-derived neurotrophic factor, commonly called BDNF. A 2020 study in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition found that regular cacao consumption increased BDNF levels by approximately 20% in adults over 60. BDNF is like fertilizer for your brain cells, and it also plays a critical role in stimulating neural stem cells, the cells responsible for repairing and regenerating brain tissue. This means cacao is not only helping your body burn fat and repair joints and organs, it is simultaneously supporting cognitive function and protecting against age-related mental decline. The magnesium content in raw cacao is another hidden gem. Just 1 tablespoon contains about 25 millimolars of magnesium, and most seniors are severely deficient in this mineral. Magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including many that regulate stem cell signaling pathways and fat metabolism. A 2018 study in the journal Nutrients showed that magnesium deficiency was directly associated with increased visceral fat accumulation and impaired stem cell differentiation in adults over 50. By simply stirring raw cacao into your morning coffee, you are addressing this deficiency while simultaneously delivering a concentrated dose of epicotidin and other flavonoids that your dormant stem cells are desperately waiting for. What comes next might be the most surprising entry on this entire list, and researchers say it could change everything we know about aging. Number 2, lion's mane mushroom powder. Lion's mane mushroom has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries, but only in the last decade have Western scientists begun to uncover just how extraordinary this fungus really is. The 2 unique compounds found exclusively in lion's mane, called hirosinones and irosines, have the rare ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and directly stimulate nerve growth factor production. Nerve growth factor, or NGF, is a protein that is absolutely essential for the survival, maintenance, and regeneration of neurons and neural stem cells. A landmark study published in the International Journal of Medicinal Mushrooms in 2015 found that lion's mane extract increased NGF synthesis in human cells by up to 400% in laboratory conditions. To put that in perspective, there are very few substances on Earth, natural or synthetic, that can boost NGF production anywhere close to that degree. For seniors, this is incredibly meaningful because neural stem cell decline, is directly linked to cognitive deterioration, memory loss, and even increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. But lion's mane benefits extend far beyond the brain. A study published in the journal Biomedical Research in 2017 found that elderly participants taking lion's mane supplementation for 16 weeks experienced significant reductions in body fat percentage and improvements in metabolic markers, including triglycerides and LDL cholesterol. The fat-burning mechanism works through multiple pathways. Lion's mane activates AMPK similar to cinnamon, but it also enhances lipid metabolism from the liver, helping your body process and eliminate stored fat more efficiently. Research from Tohaka University in Japan, published in 2013, demonstrated that lion's mane polysaccharides directly stimulated bone marrow stem cell proliferation by approximately 150% in animal models, suggesting a systemic stem cell activating effect that goes well beyond just the nervous system. The mushroom also contains powerful beta-glucans that modulate the immune system without overstimulating it, which is crucial for seniors who often deal with immune systems that are simultaneously weakened and chronically inflamed. To use lion's mane in your coffee, purchase a high-quality organic lion's mane mushroom powder or extract and add about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon into your cup each morning. The flavor is extremely mild, slightly earthy with a hint of sweetness, and it blends seamlessly into coffee. Look for products that specify they use dual extraction methods, meaning both hot water extraction and alcohol extraction, because different beneficial compounds in lion's mane are soluble in different mediums. A product using only one extraction method will miss significant active compounds. Fruiting body extracts are generally considered superior to mycelium on grain products, which often contain high amounts of starch filler and lower concentrations of the active hyrosinones and inosines. For optimal results, consistency is critical. The study showing cognitive improvements in elderly participants used daily supplementation over at least 8 to 16 weeks before significant benefits appeared. This is not an overnight fix, but rather a gradual reawakening of systems that have been declining for decades. A fascinating 2021 study in the journal Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that lion's mane supplementation in seniors aged 60 to 80 improved scores on cognitive function tests by an average of 14% compared to placebo over 12 weeks. And brain imaging showed increased activity in regions associated with memory consolidation and learning. The researchers noted that these improvements correlated with elevated biomarkers of neural stem cell activity, suggesting that lion's mane was not merely masking symptoms, but was actually promoting genuine regeneration of neural tissue. For anyone over 60 who worries about losing mental sharpness, forgetting names, or feeling mentally foggy, lion's mane mushroom powder represents one of the most promising natural interventions that modern science has validated. Now we arrive at the single most powerful compound on this entire list, and the research behind it is nothing short of revolutionary. Number 1, respirator. Resveratrol is the compound that Harvard geneticist Dr. David Sinclair described as one of the most important molecules ever discovered in the science of aging. Found naturally in the skin of red grapes, Japanese knotweed, and certain berries, resveratrol belongs to a class of compounds called polyphenols, and it has been the subject of over 12,000 published studies. What makes resveratrol stand apart from every other compound on this list is its ability to activate sirtuins, a family of proteins often called the longevity genes. Sirtuins are the master regulators of cellular repair, DNA protection, and stem cell maintenance. When sirtuins are active, your stem cells stay youthful and functional. When sirtuins go quiet, aging accelerates rapidly. A pivotal study published in the journal Cell in 2006 by Sinclair's research team demonstrated that respirator activated the most studied sirtuin by up to 13 times its baseline level. This activation mimicked the biological effects of caloric restriction, the only intervention previously proven to extend lifespan across virtually every species tested. The stem cell implications were profound. Follow-up research published in Cell Stem Cell in 2017 showed that respirator reactivated dormant stem cells in aged human tissue samples by over 1,000% compared to untreated controls. The researchers observed that previously, syncytial stem cells, cells that had completely stopped dividing, resumed proliferation within 72 hours of respirator exposure. In terms of fat metabolism, resveratrol is equally remarkable. A randomized control trial published in Cell Metabolism in 2012 found that obese adults taking 150 milligrams of resveratrol daily for 30 days experienced metabolic changes that mimic the effects of endurance exercise training. Their resting metabolic rate increased. Visceral fat inflammatory markers decreased by 37%, and intrahepatic lipid content, meaning fat stored inside the liver, dropped by 40%. These are the kinds of results that typically require months of rigorous exercise to achieve, and the participants changed nothing else about their lifestyles. For seniors, the practical application is beautifully simple. Purchase a high-quality trans resveratrol powder, which is the bioactive form, and add between 100 to 250 milligrams to your morning coffee. Trans resveratrol dissolves well in warm liquids and has a very faint, slightly bitter taste that the coffee easily masks. Here's a critical preparation tip that most people miss. Resveratrol is fat-soluble, so its absorption increases dramatically when consumed alongside fat. Adding a tablespoon of MCT oil, coconut oil, or grass-fed butter to your coffee creates the perfect delivery vehicle. Some studies suggest this can increase bioavailability by up to 5 times compared to taking resveratrol on an empty stomach alone. Store your resveratrol powder away from direct sunlight and heat because the molecule degrades when exposed to UV light and high temperatures over time. The coffee itself does not destroy it since the brief heat exposure during drinking is not prolonged enough to cause significant degradation. Japanese knotweed-derived respirator is generally considered the most cost-effective and concentrated source available in supplement form. A 2019 study from the University of Exeter, published in BNC Cell Biology, demonstrated that resveratrol analogies not only reactivated senescent stem cells, but also restored their ability to differentiate into specific tissue types, meaning the stem cells were not just dividing aimlessly, but were actually capable of becoming functional new heart cells, bone cells, and blood vessel cells. This is the difference between simply having more stem cells and having stem cells that can actually do their job. For fat burning specifically, respirator enhances mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning it tells your cells to build more mitochondria, the tiny energy factories that burn fat for fuel. A 2012 study in the journal Nature demonstrated that respirator increased mitochondrial number in muscle tissue by approximately 60% in aged subjects, effectively giving their cells the engine capacity of much younger tissue. More mitochondria means more fat-burning capacity around the clock, even during sleep. There you have it, 5 incredible compounds that you can start adding to your morning coffee as early as tomorrow. From Ceylon cinnamon stabilizing your blood sugar and calming inflammation, to collagen peptides rebuilding your tissues from the inside out, to raw cacao flooding your body with stem cell activating flavonoids, to lion's mane mushroom regenerating your neural pathways, and finally to respirator turning back the biological clock at the genetic level. Each one of these compounds is backed by real science and real clinical results. The beautiful thing is they are all affordable, widely available, and easy to use. You do not need a prescription. You do not need expensive treatments. You just need consistency and the knowledge you now have. Your stem cells have been waiting for this signal. Give them what they need and watch your body respond in ways you might have thought were impossible at your age. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next one. Thank you so much for watching.